Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running. Welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive look at the midsole performance of the Asics Gel Kayano 30. So I've done a couple of reviews on this shoe. I've done a Kayano 30 to 29 comparison, so it gives you a bit of a breakdown of what Asics have done from its previous version to what we have in front of us today. I've also done another review on Kayano 30 after 100 kilometers. So if you want to see either of those videos, head to the link below and we'll take you through to that. But today is more about what Asics have done with the midsole, because there's been a significant amount of change with this shoe and we wanted to break it down for you, the running community at home, to let you know that Asics are on the right track and how they've executed not only to keep the support nice and stable and smooth, but also to execute their very well-known cushioning system, which is that gel technology, which has been strategically placed in the heel. So today's going to be a bit of an unusual review, but I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it with you guys. So go make yourself a cup of tea or a coffee, grab a glass of water, whatever you like to do, sit down and let's get stuck in. So why do this review? For me, I have been a fan of the Kayano franchise for a number of years. I've kind of liked what that shoe has represented here in Australia. It's a very popular shoe. It's also a very popular shoe all over the world for that matter, but down here in Australia, it's a very, very iconic brand. I mean, the Kayano name has got a lot of following. A huge amount of trust has been put into that brand. So with that in mind, we wanted to understand what Asics have done with this midsole. For me, after a few runs in the Kayano 30s, I was really just more out of wanting to know exactly what they have done with this midsole, because I was really sort of struggling to understand how the shoe was pretty comfortable, pretty smooth. That arch support was not intrusive. I felt very stable, but it was so vastly different from what we've experienced with Duomax to Light Trust and now to the 4D guidance system. So again, having conversations with a few of our staff down here, we're trying to wrap our head around it. I mean, Ollie Callahan's a podiatrist, Nathan Pope's a podiatrist, and those two guys, we really workshop what the Kayano is all about, and we tried to understand exactly how Asics have executed this new arch support. So in today's review, let's get stuck in and talk all things midsole. So as you can see through here, I've got the forefoot and I've got the heel part of the Kayano, and we had them cut in half, and I'll just push mine out to the side here so I can hold these for you. You can see through here the different shades of color. So this gray section is exactly what Asics have done with their 4D guidance system, and the white section is their Flight Foam Blast Plus cushioning system. So you can see through here there's a couple of vertical cutouts, and also on that little arch support system. What that does is it reduces a little bit of the weight, but it allows that cushioning system to compress a little bit more throughout the whole transition of the gait cycle. Now with this 4D support structural guidance support system, what we have found is that because it's significantly softer than the Flight Foam Blast Plus cushioning system, it kind of is almost contradictory to what they're trying to achieve with offering arch support on the medial side. So you would sit there and think, and probably rightly so, having soft foam underneath your arch is surely going to be less stable. And you know, fair enough for thinking that, but it doesn't work like that. This soft foam actually splays out a lot more across this axis through here. So not the Z axis, the X and Y axis. So therefore, by splaying out further, you see the actual shoe itself increases its surface area through mid-starts. And not only that, I'll show you the rear of the shoe through here. So when I press down here, because obviously the person running in this shoe, more often than not, is going to be coming from heel through to forefoot. So if you think about the person landing in the shoe coming through to their mid-starts phase, when you press down through here, you can see the actual 4D support system does kick out a little bit more to the medial side. So you actually get a flared support structure. So the shoe itself increases its surface area on that medial side, which then offers a little bit more surface area for your arch support. On top of that, going through the Z-axis, so we talked about the X and the Y-axis, going through the Z-axis, which is heel through to forefoot, by having a softer foam, it's actually really resilient and very responsive. So not only do you get increased surface area, you get a bit of pop back with this little bit of arch support through here. So it actually provides an element of response, which is talking to that 4D guidance system. 4D, short for fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is time. So trying to reduce the amount of time we are in mid-starts, which will then, in theory, which has been validated, reduce the amount of stress and load on the arch when you're going through mid-starts for your mild overpronators. So that's giving you a bit of a breakdown of how this arch support works. It's very unique. It's extremely progressive in my opinion. I think they've absolutely nailed it with regards to the objective outcome of offering arch support for your overpronators. So let's start talking about the cushioning system and where that sits inside the Kayano 30s. Okay guys, let's talk all flight foam, blast plus and pure gel technology within the Kayano 30. So as you can see, we saw the left shoe in half like so, we got the right and we went along the horizontal plane of the midsole. Let's take off the upper of the shoe and talk to you about what they have done with this midsole technology. So you can see the pure gel here actually sits inside the flight foam blast plus cushioning system, a lot closer to the foot. So we actually extracted this by cutting out that midsole piece underneath the heel through there. So we have the hexagonal structure of the gel cushioning system. It's flat on one side and it will inadvertently be concave on the other. So what we will find through this technology is the flat sits closer to your foot and the hexagonal concave setup sits closer to the ground. So when you stand or put pressure on it, it actually splays out and the little decoupled holes through here, the hollow points of that hexagonal shapes will actually offer a lot more cushioning in conjunction with the gel technology. So that's how that pure gel tech works. And as we touched on, it sits strategically underneath the heel of this shoe through here to provide heel strikers with the appropriate amount of cushioning. So obviously with that pure gel closer to the foot and the flight foam blast plus technology, there's significantly more of that foam which sits underneath that pure gel closer to the ground. There is ample amount of foam here that not only the cushioning from the pure gel, but you're getting a lot of good performing foam sitting underneath the heel, which is going to provide exactly the amount of cushioning you need. We want to just jump to that 4D support system again, and just an extension of what we discussed in and around this cutout part of the Kayano 30. We want to talk to you, obviously cutting that horizontal line, is that you can see through here that it doesn't cover a lot of surface area the closer to the foot. However, when you flip it upside down, it does cover a significant amount of area with regards to the ground contact point just under that outsole. So that outsole was flared through here to provide an element of protection, obviously for that softer compound of foam, but also to provide some trussic support through mid-stance as well. But just talking to that point is that by having less closer to the foot, it's less intrusive. You don't notice it to be overly soft, and that's probably why it perplexed me. We're going from a few runs in the Kayano 30. I actually thought that I should feel something through there, and it really feels like a neutral shoe underfoot. However, I was pronating less, and I've measured that using my run scribe pods out in the road. I can see that I was getting around 2.5 degrees less movement, and the velocity from point A, being contact, to mid-stance was around 150 degrees a second less than my Nimbus 25s, which is a significant number. Now, again, just talking to that, flared out closer to the ground, what we tend to find with Kayanos is, whether it be the Light Trust or the old Duomax system, over a time, this shoe would have a really unusual wear pattern. So you would see that we'd see an element of inversion through here, through mid-stance, and the lateral side of the shoe would collapse because that truss or that arch support was quite hard, and the outside of the shoe would wear out pretty quickly. So therefore, after around 300, 400, 500 Ks, we're seeing a real bias towards that lateral side. Not going to be the case with the Kayano 30. And the reason I say that is because this is a softer density and there's more surface area underneath the arch and that it is closer to the foot through here. We'll actually see that to wear better as the time goes on with this shoe. So you get a more consistent wear through kilometre 100, 200, 300, 400 and so on. You get more consistency with the performance of the midsole, so therefore you won't feel as statically pushed out as we did with other Kayanos gone by in the past. You get a more consistent overall outcome of this performing midsole. So guys, thank you so very much for tuning in today's summary of the midsole, the Kayano 30. Obviously there is significant change here. Asics have really backed themselves, backed their engineering team, and have executed what I think to be the best Kayano to date. It is the 30th release of this shoe, 3 decades in the game. I mean, you're doing something right, of course, over that time. But for us, I think Asics have been one of the more consistent brands, especially with this shoe. As if you're sort of considering the last decade at least, with the Duomax, the Light Trust, the gel cushioning. They have been a great performer for a lot of runners, and especially here in Australia. We know this shoe is so popular. So what we really wanted to do here at Sportitude Running was give you a little bit more of an insight into how Asics have produced this Kayano 30. I think it's really important for you guys at home to truly understand what brands are doing and how they're executing their support systems and their cushioning systems, so that you can potentially enjoy this shoe, chase your PBs, get out on the road, and just enjoy everything that running has to offer. Because Asics are trying to, progress like all brands in this space. They're just wanting to make the most comfortable, the best performing shoes for the right person, the right category for you runners all over the world. So if you've got any questions on this shoe review, hit the comment section below. Let us know what you think. Hopefully we've answered some of those questions that you had in and around this shoe and how it performs. Guys, but until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we will see you out on the road. Take care.